They're made out of brass. Basically. They're made out of brass, and therefore they're a family of instruments called brass instruments, which is different to strings like violins and cellos, and the woodwind group like flutes and oboes. This is pretty much all the instruments in the brass category, and so it's made out of brass, and which gives them a nice kind of broad singing sound. Yeah. That's a very good question. So, as Harry demonstrated before, you've got the mouthpiece, which goes in the instrument, but in reality, it's the lips vibrating. So all of us, into our instruments, we're kind of spitting into the instruments, really. We're going... That's what we're doing.
You guys have a go at that?
Yeah, can everyone go
try and blow a raspberry into the air.
Oh, very good. Very good. So you go...
So you got it.
That's what you do. So 3 different things happening, and that's what makes the sound. Very good question. Someone else.
Sure.
It's gold, mate.
So these aren't actually made out of gold, not real gold. Because if they were made out of real gold, it would be very expensive
And very heavy.
and very heavy as well. So we wouldn't be able to hold them up. These are made of a metal called brass, which is a couple of metals put together to make brass. And then most of our instruments, all of our instruments here actually, are made really shiny. So you can see they're very shiny. And it's not actually the brass that makes them shiny, it's the what's called lacquered, which means they put a special shiny coating on them to make them look nice as well. So it looks like gold, but it's not really gold. Any other questions?
Yeah.
How old were you when you first started playing, and anybody play a second instrument as well?
Good question.
So I think we had these questions yesterday actually a lot, and so I've been playing since I come from a very musical family, so I've been playing since I was 3. But I also started piano when I was 6. So I've been doing it 17 years now. But a lot of people start, I think when they're about 6 or 7 years old, maybe 8. It depends what instrument. Trumpet usually start first, and then when you build up to. And then if you find you like the sound of a bigger instrument, then generally when you're old enough to kind of carry it, normally the tuba when you're about. Well, I've known tuba players to start at 8 or 9. But it depends on.
I think it's when you have 2 front teeth in it.
Yeah.
That is really the limitation though. So when I started at the age of 7 on the horn, but they've actually invented what's called a mini horn, which is especially for kids aged kind of 6, 7, 8, just so you can pick it up. There's no way I would have been able to pick this up. So what they do on the horn is I've got 2 layers of tubing here. They cut it down to 1 layer, so it's a much lighter instrument. So I started the horn at 7, and I started the piano at 5 as well. And I found it really useful to have some piano skills, so I was used to reading the music and learning the notes and stuff before I moved on to the horn. So
That's a good question. Do you find that when you do some singing, did you find that singing helped you use your mouthpiece? Do you find that a useful
Yeah,
thing?
definitely. We're encouraged to do a lot of singing at college as well. In first year, you're put into like a choir. But I would definitely recommend it. Yeah, it's very helpful for.
These guys do half an hour of singing before they do.
It's a really good skill to have.
Yeah, even now, even though we're good players, advanced, we're still encouraged to sing all the time and still build up those skills.
Sometimes at the end of the day, if we've got a rehearsal and we're really tired and we've been playing all day, we'll often just sing our parts. And that actually, we've found that's become really helpful. Because it means you don't have to play as much, and you also kind of, you hear what you sorry, you had a question.
All good questions. Alright, I'll do it. So
I have to repeat the question so everybody can hear it. Yeah.
It's basically, the question is, what do these things do? Right, why are they there? So basically, to get high or low, you actually mostly use your mouth. If you do a really high, like you're smiling, like you go high, and if you sort of go raspy like that, you go low. I'll just show you, and this is not using fingering at all. So I'm gonna put my hands here and not touch the buttons. Okay. You know that. So from that you can get lots of different notes, but you can't get every note. There's gaps in between the notes that you actually can play, and the vowels allow you to go. So
Let me show you what a vowel are.
yeah.
So the actual vowels, what they do is they have holes in them. So the tubing allows, so when you push the button down, the valve, it allows the air to then flow through the instrument. So when you're blowing the instrument down, I can show you around. So it has small holes in, which allows the air to flow through. So then when you push different combinations down, it has different bits of tubing. So we won't make the tubing shorter, we may make it longer. So then you put it in, and then basically when you put different combinations down, it changes the length of tubing throughout. So it might make it longer or shorter depending on what kind of note you want. You got any other questions?
Yeah. What time do we start? When do we start?
I think we start about 9 o'clock today. Depends actually. Depends what kind of like what time in the morning.
Do you mean what time of day, or do you mean what age were we when we started? What time of day?
It really depends what we have on the day. If we're really busy, then we might start earlier in the day. So sometimes 9 o'clock or maybe 8 o'clock in the morning. Alex doesn't. He's not an early bird.
I stay in bed until 10, and then I practice in the evening.
Yeah.
Are they harder to play early in the morning?
Yes. I think there is a logic behind that. I think the reason for that is because you haven't used your muscles all night. So just in talking and walking around and just living, you actually warm your body up, and you're more prepared to play a brass instrument, I think, just through using your facial muscles and breathing and things, than you are straight away when you've woken up in the morning, I think. So
Is there like a magic hour?
it's a magic hour.
I'd say it's the evening for me. So
I
if I don't play all day, and then I play in the evening,
Yeah.
So I don't know what it is. I think a lot of it is psychological maybe, but like
Maybe.
if you haven't played all day and then after 3 o'clock you start playing and you think, oh,
I find 9 p.m. 9 p.m. 10 p.m. It's not really, really late. I find that I actually really enjoy practicing them.
What do your neighbours think?
How long of time to practice on
we try and do between 2 and 3 hours a day, but we break it up. I know Rory, when the World Cup was on, you booked a practice room in the morning and then watched a football match. In the afternoon, watched a football match, and in the evening, and watched a football match.
They do have brass bands in the football where you're pretending to be the brass band whilst watching the football.
they have like what's the band called?
The Barmy Army.
Barmy Army, yeah. Are they normally kind of I think in that band you have a couple of trumpets, a couple of euphoniums, I think, which a euphonium is it uses the same mouthpiece as a trombone, and it's a similar type of instrument, apart from it's mostly like a tuba, but it's a smaller version. But normally they play so loud. I feel sorry for the people in the next 10 years.
Yes, I'm following the question, okay? You practice in 2 hours, 3 hours, how does your roommates, family, neighbors cope, or you have any magic answer for that?
We mostly practice in college, at university, but when we don't, we also have mutes, which quiet the sound. So it's not quite this mute, but this will quiet. But you can get especially when it's not indoor. Okay. But basically, practice mutes are very similar to this. You stick them in the end of the bell, and they'll work it. It'll dampen the sound a lot. So sometimes if I'm at home and it's early in the morning or late at night, I'll stick that in, and it's nearly very silent actually. But I think we do most of our practice in college.
Clothes will do the job as well, lots of socks.
Yeah. Yeah, some jumpers or something like that. Yeah.
So do you all have mutes? Because we've seen the trumpet mutes. So do you all have your mutes?
Not with us.
Not with
No.
I was going to say, a tuba mute is a thing of the whole.
Yeah.
The super mute bigger than orange shoes together. Yeah. We do one more. We do one more piece.
Yeah.